Good evening, everyone. Hi. I hope you guys can see me and hear me clearly. Hi, Pranjal. Hi, Jyoti. Good to have you guys here. So, in this particular class, we plan to cover the previous year questions which were asked in CAT 2020, second slot of LR and DI. So, I covered the part one of it a little while ago in the 3:30 class. I am not very sure if any of you were there in that class or not, but we discussed three sets in that, and I plan to discuss the remaining two sets now. For those of you who might be attending my class for the first time, my name is Ravi Handa. I have been teaching for CAT for close to 15 years now. I've taught at IMS, Time, Career Launcher, all the leading CAT coaching institutes. After that, I started my own website with the name handagafunda.com, through which I taught 20,000 plus students online. And very recently, I started taking classes on Unacademy as well. As a part of an academy, I take lots of free classes and lots of paid classes too. For the free classes, I would recommend that you join my Telegram group that is available on this particular link, and you will get all the necessary updates about which class is happening when, what the schedule is like. All those details will be provided to you in the Telegram group. An academy offers two kinds of courses, the plus courses and the iconic courses. In the plus courses, you get live classes, but you get them in a structure. That is, do this, do this, do this. A particular order is followed. In the iconic one, you get personalized guidance as well. And this personalized guidance is provided to you by mentors who have done it themselves. So these are people who have cleared the CAT exam themselves, who have gone to the IIMs, and you can discuss a variety of issues with them. For example, if you want to make a study plan, you can make it with them. For example, you want to sit down and analyze your mock test with them, you can do that. All of this help is provided to you in the iconic plan, which helps you prepare very well. My recommendation, if you're looking at CAT 21, the 6-month plan of the plus part, where you don't get that mentorship, is the better one, which is for 16,400. You can use the coupon code HANDA and it will give you a 10% off on it. And as a part of this 6-month plan, there are multiple other benefits that you will get. For example, we have started giving full-length mock tests. So there are 2 full-length mock tests are given to you every week. There is a sectional test for LRDI, for QA, and one for BARC, each that is given to you. And that's part of both our plus and iconic plan. So this is something which will really, really help you prepare. In case you are looking at CAT 22, in that case, I would recommend the 12-month plan. And in that case, I would recommend the iconic plan because there will be someone to guide you. Now, you can take it in CAT 21 as well, but the guidance that is provided to you, it'll take time for you to actually implement that. And if you need time to actually implement that, then it has to be a long-term program. And that is why the 12-month program is something that I recommend if you're targeting CAT 22. Once again, Deepansh or anyone else who is looking for it can use the coupon code HANDA, HANDA, and get a 10% discount on the courses. Now, Deepansh, if you are targeting now, if you have a question specific to Ella, I'll just come to it. Just a reminder that the prices are going to be raised by 16th of September. They will go up by 10%. So in case you're planning to register, please do it before that. Then, now what is it that you can do if you're targeting LR in CAT 22? See, if you're targeting LR in CAT 22, not much. To be really honest, you can chill for a little while because LRDI is not something that requires a lot of effort. You need to get to a certain level so that you can solve the easy questions, you can solve puzzles. So what I would recommend to you, Deepansh, is maybe get a puzzle book and solve a few puzzles. On Unacademy, we have those sort of, bunch of puzzles which are made available to you that you can use. Or if you're not an enrolled student, then you can get a puzzle book. You can decide to join a coaching as well. And then the coaching would suggest how you can prepare and all of that. So all of those are things, but I would suggest if you're looking at CAT 22, your highest priority should be verbal, then quant, and then LRDI. Not because I'm teaching LRDI and I think that it is simple. I also teach quant, and but what I've seen is the amount of time and effort that people take to improve in a certain area. So if you're targeting improvement, then in my opinion, it is a lot easier to improve in LRDI such that you can clear the cutoff, which is 90 percentile. For 90 percentile, typically you need to solve 2 sets, and that's good enough. Are you guys okay with that? If you have any other questions, please ask. If not, I will start off with the sets that I have planned. Once again, the slot 2 that we are discussing had 5 sets. We did 3 sets in the previous one. One was about professors helping students with seminars. There was another one which was related to voting. And then there was another one which was related to revenue generated by apparel, electronics, and stuff. In my opinion, this was hard. This should definitely not be done. In my opinion, the voting set was easy enough, which could have been done or should have been done. Whether to do the prof set or not, that depends upon what the other 2 sets are. So I will check the other 2 sets and then maybe give you an overall ranking. But just, this can be eliminated because I need to do 2 sets. And even if in the first 3 I needed to do 2 sets, I would have done the professor seminar one and the voting one. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, that is probably because you didn't attend the previous class where we discussed these 3 sets. In slot 2, as I said, there were 5 sets. 3 of them I've discussed in the previous class. The other 2 will start discussion now. So let's have a look at this. And I think the questions start directly after it. So it's just how you interpret this information. Let me know when you want me to start the discussion around this. Okay, let's check. 25 colored beads are to be arranged in a grid composing of 5 rows and 5 columns. Each cell in the grid must contain exactly 1 bead. The bead could be red, blue, or green. While arranging the beads in any of the 5 rows along any of the 5 columns, the rules have to be followed. 2 adjacent beads are always of different colors. Okay, so RR, blue, blue, green, green is not acceptable. There is at least 1 green bead between any 2 blue beads. Okay, so if you have blue, you need at least 1 green. You may have a red, you may not have a red, but you definitely need at least 1 green bead. I'll keep that in mind. At least 1 and at least 1 green bead must be there between 2 red beads. Okay, so between 2 red, you need at least 1 blue and at least 1 green. So that's the possibilities which are there. Can I have 2 green beads in between them? I think so. So RGB, GR, that's perfectly fine. At least 1 green is there, at least 1 red is there. So this is okay. We have no restrictions on green. We have no restrictions on green, but we have a restriction on blue. So this is acceptable. How about I make red, blue, green, blue, red? Is this acceptable? Yes, because between two blue, I needed at least one green. That is also happening. And no point looking beyond 5 because I have in a row a maximum of 5. Karthik, that is because you are trying to attempt too many sets. So what you should do, Karthik, is you should try to, look at the sets and figure out that this is the only one set that I'm going to do. So for the next 3 mock tests or the next 3 sectional tests that you take, in 40 minutes, go in with the goal, I will do only one set. Which set? I don't know. It should be the easiest one. So whatever time you have, spend all your time in figuring out where you are able to understand the information, where everything is clear to you, and attempt only that one set. Once your test is over, sit down and attempt all 5 sets without the pressure of time. And then check, was your set selection appropriate? Did you select the easiest set according to you? See, in the paper, you may or may not have selected the easiest set. I'm not saying you got it right, you got it wrong. That is not something that I want you to focus on. Because our goal is to improve. The only way we are going to improve is if we train ourselves for that skill. The skill in LR and DI. So quant requires a completely different skill set. Quant requires you to be able to spot questions which you can do quickly. Even if you know the method for a question, but if you know it's going to take too long, no point attempting it. Here, it's a completely different ballgame in LRDI. In LRDI, you need to understand that what can you do, because time is not a problem. You have 2 sets, 40 minutes. Even if you spend 10 minutes on figuring out the right set, no easy set takes more than 15 minutes. So you'll anyways be able to do all the questions of that set, provided your selection is right. So the skill that you need to develop is selection. So you attempt the next 3 mocks or the next 3 tests, try to select the easiest set. If you have selected, and do this analysis for yourself, that if you have selected the easiest set in all 3 of them, good. Next time, try selecting the 2 easiest sets. But if that is not the case, then you need to sit down and keep doing this exercise again and again and again till you hit a streak of 3 consecutive times when you selected the right set. Until and unless you hit that streak of 3 times of selecting the right set, there is no point attempting more questions, more sets, or doing anything other than that for LR and DI. So your goal has to be selecting the right set. Let's do that. Let's connect back maybe after 15 days or so, because in 15 days, I hope you would have taken at least 4 or 5 sectional tests. So you will have an idea, and that's the way you are going to improve. Do you agree with me, Karthik? Do you have any follow-up questions? Please ask. And not just here, for any student, if you have any follow-up questions with me that you want to discuss, anything about preparation or anything like that, you can always send me an email on hkfdoubt@gmail.com and I will pick it up in an upcoming class. Okay, so this is the information which is given to me. Now, total number of possible combinations, configurations using the beads of only 2 colors. Can I take only red and green? Can I do that? No, I cannot do that because between 2 reds, I need at least 1 blue. Can I take red and blue? Again, I cannot do that because between 2 reds, I need at least 1 green. So if I'm taking only 2 colors, I cannot take red green, I cannot take red blue. I have to take blue and green. Now, if I have to take blue and green, what configuration can I make from that? So I have blue, and if I have blue, the next one cannot be blue because two consecutive cannot be same. So blue, green, blue, then blue here. So blue, green, 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 blue. This is a valid arrangement. Is there any other arrangement that you can think of with blue and green? Karthik, Prachi, Amitesh, can any of you think of any other valid arrangement using just blue and green? The other one will be here, you started with the blue, you start exactly the alternate of this, you started with the blue, now what you do is you start with the green. So green, blue, green, blue, green. So this is also valid. Any other arrangement that you can think of with just blue and green? No, it's not possible because you will either start with the blue or you will start with the green. Once you start with the blue, everything else gets automatically figured out. So there are only two combinations which are possible in this case. Maximum possible number of red beads that can appear in any configuration. So now my goal is to maximize red. I'll not put in blue and green, but I know that between any two reds, there have to be at least one blue and one green. So red here, red here. So I will need a blank here, I'll need a blank here, I'll need a blank here, I'll need a blank here. So the blanks that I have made, they can only be filled with blue and green. You cannot have anything else on them. Now, if this is blue, then this is green. If this is blue, then this is green. If this is blue, then this is green. We can have various combinations. I'm not filling those combos. I'll fill those restrictions in the end. Because please remember, green is most versatile. Between two greens, there are no issues, no problems. The only person who has a problem is blue. So these four reds you can put, and the blanks that I have made, they have to be, blue or green. Now let's try and put, are there more reds that I can put? So second position in the second row, second column, this is not clashing with anyone, any of the existing R's. So, okay, so R here, R here, R here. Once again, all of these dashes now are where blue and green have to come. One position is left. Can you put R there? Can you put R there? Surely you can. Okay. So I have 9. Can I mark 9 and go ahead? Or do I need to check something else? Will I be happy with this? I've put in the 9 reds. They are not clashing. They have space between for blue and green. Can I just mark 9 and go ahead? Or do I need to care about some other stuff as well? Yes. Conditions, no two consecutive. One green between two blues, and a blue and a green between two reds. So should I try and fill this up or should I not try and fill this up? That's my question to you. In the paper, will you fill this up or will you not fill this up? Devanshu says, no, there is no need to fill it up. Okay. What do Anish, Karthik and others think? Because Devanshu says that, okay, we are only concerned about red. I have seen no clashes for red. Is that good enough? No, that is not good enough, because there is a possibility that a clash for a blue or a green might arise. So you need to take care of that fact. So let's try and put the blue and the greens. So if I put a blue here, I need a green here. Now green and green cannot be consecutive, which means I need a blue here. And if blue is here, then green comes here. If green is here, then blue comes here. If blue is here, green comes here. If green is here, blue comes here. Okay. So this is the sort of combo that I got. Now, I also know between any two blues, I need at least one green. If between any two blues, I need at least one green, this position cannot be blue, because only red will come in between, which means this position is green. If this is green, this is blue. If this is blue, this is green. If this is green, this is blue. If this is blue, this is green. If this is green, this is blue. If this is blue, then this is green. Now you check. So we did it one by one by just taking one position between any two blues. So between these two blues, there is a green. 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 So I'm happy that I have at least one green between the blues. Now, blue here, blue here. So blue cannot come because then it will have a red. So this has to be green. How about this one? How about this one? What can come here? So we have a blue green. So blue can come here. We have a blue green. Blue can come here. So this particular position could be blue, could be green. I'm okay with it. See, I'm not asked how many configurations can be formed. I don't know. I don't care how many configurations can be formed. I am asked how many reds can be there. So I figured out that 9 reds can be there, and I could place blue and green without any clashes. See, in the end, it came as two choices. In the end, it came as two choices because I started with the blue. It is possible that if I started with a green, it is possible. Let me just try that out. Are you guys okay with this? So now I know that my answer is 9. Now I know that my answer is 9. I don't care how many configurations are possible. But suppose the question is how many configurations are possible. Then I've got, when I started with the blue, I got 2 configurations. So let me remove this. So when I started with the blue, I got 2 configurations. Now I'm going to start with the green. So green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. Now blue and green. So blue comes here. This has to be green because it cannot be 2 blues. Now this can be blue also or green also, not a problem. So if I take this as blue, then this becomes green, then this becomes blue, this becomes green. Is it satisfying? Then this becomes blue, this becomes green, this becomes blue. Perfectly valid. If this is green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, and green? Are all of them valid? Yes, because between, look at these. These blues are surrounded by greens. These blues are surrounded by greens. That means whenever you go either in the row or in the column, they will always have one green. So both of these configurations are possible. Both of these configurations are possible. So in this case, both of these are possible. And what will come here? If it's a blue here, then it has to be green. If it is a green here, then it can be blue. So again, blue and green both can come at these positions. So there are multiple combos which are possible. There are multiple combos which are possible. As a matter of fact, I'm not 100% sure. If I start with green, there are 3 combos which are possible. If this is blue, then it can be blue or green. But if this is green, then this has to be green. So with this blue, you have 2 choices. With this green, you have 1 choice. So in totality, you have 2 plus 1 or 3 choices here. So there are 5 drawings or 5 arrangements that I can make. For the question, you did not need 5 arrangements. For the questions, you did not even need to find out how many arrangements are possible. For the question, the only thing that you needed was whether 9 is valid or not. And as soon as you got the fact that 9 is valid, beyond that, nothing else is required. Let's check. What is the minimum number of blue beads in any configuration? Okay. So now my job is to minimize the number of blue. I think I'll go ahead with this, because if R is max, if R is max, what I'm going to do is I'm going to maximize green now. So if I'm going to maximize, so this becomes green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, and maximizing, so green. So what is the minimum number of blue? Three here, 3 here. So the minimum number of blue that I can form is 3 plus 3 equal to 6. Because wherever you have an option, see, green doesn't care. Green has no restrictions. I'll put in green wherever I want. So I put in green at the maximum possible choices, and I got green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, blue possible only with 6. Are you okay with that? Okay. Next one. 2 red beads have been placed in the second row, third column, third row, second column. So 2 red beads, second row, third column. So my first, second row, third column. So this is an R here. And third row, second column. There is an R here. Okay. Now, how many more red beads can be placed to maximize the number of reds? See, now if you are trying to maximize the number of reds, where can you put it? This can be a red because there are 2 spaces in between. This can be a red because there are 2 spaces in between. What else can you do? See, you cannot have anything in this column now, anything in this column now, or anything in this column now. In terms of rows, these 3 rows are out. Okay. So you can have first row, first row, fourth column, 2 in first and third. No, not first and third, but first and fourth. So both sides, first and fourth, I can put. Okay. I don't think I can put any more reds because everything is eliminated. And now I will do the same thing. I will verify. So we had 2 initially. From 2 I went to 8. So I've added 6. My answer should be 6. But I'm still not sure if my answer is 6 or not. So I will need to verify. Let me see. I'll not consider all the cases. I'll just try to quickly verify if it is possible or not. So blue, green, blue, green, blue. Then if this is blue, then green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. Okay. Then after blue, I definitely need a green. After blue, I definitely need a green. And then one finally blue. Valid combo. Let me check for the blues. So between 2 blues, I have a green. Between 2 blues, okay, yes. So I am getting a green between all the blues which are there because green is forming kind of a layer. Red is forming a layer. See, red is forming a layer in between of separation, and then green is forming a layer of separation. Anything on the left side, there is only one blue. On the right side, there is only one blue. So green will come in between the blues. So it's perfectly fine. This is valid. And 6 will be my answer. Are you guys okay with this? Please let me know if you have any questions for this. I think I'll also put this particular question. Where is my list? Yeah. So the beads question, I'll also call this an easy question. So now I have 2 easy sets. I will definitely eliminate this. If out of these 4, I have to select 2, I would have selected the voting set and I would have selected the beads set. As a matter of fact, in my personal opinion, the beads set was actually easier than the voting set because you didn't have to calculate anything. You just had to look at arrangements. I calculated, see in this particular question, the first one, I should have realized very quickly, okay, so one will start from B, one will start from G. No need to make the entire configuration. 2 is the answer. In this one, I would have put in R, 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 and then very quickly I would have realized that green is free. So I will put in as many greens as I want once I have put in the blues. This one already solved, maximize greens. This one again will not take very long. So these are easy questions, probably the easiest question in this particular slot. Anish, sure. I do pick up few of those sets in my must-do LRDI classes. So if you look at some of my special classes, how I structured them is there is this Mastering the Past series, which I'm doing right now, and Score More in LRDI, which I do on YouTube. In those, I pick up the recent set. In the Mastering the Past special classes that I do, in those, I pick up the older sets. And if there is a particular set that is bothering you, that is concerning you, please just send it across to me and I'll pick it up in one of the upcoming classes. Should not be an issue. Okay. I'll go ahead. So there are multiple batches that we are starting both for CAT 22 as well as for CAT 21. You can go ahead and join any of these batches, and you can use the coupon code HANDA in them, which will get you a 10% off. We have a batch which is specifically for NMAT as well, which is starting on the 11th in a couple of days. So if you're planning to prepare for NMAT, I'm sure this batch will really, really help you. Then on my YouTube channel, along with Shruti, I'm trying to cover up as much syllabus of CAT 22 as possible, completely for free. This is my schedule for that. I'm taking classes on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for those. I would request you to please attend that. In the month of September, I'm planning to cover up number system as much as possible in those particular classes. Let's try the next one. This is for the last set, the parking set. And we will see which category it falls into. Okay, so 2 slides. Please go through the first one. Let me know when you want me to shift to the next slide. Let's check this. A shopping mall has a large basement parking lot with parking slots painted in it in a single row. The slots are quite narrow. A compact car can fit in a single slot, but an SUV requires 2 slots. When a car arrives, the parking attendant guides the car to the first available slot from the beginning, into which the car can fit. Obviously, if the car can't fit, there is no point guiding there, which means for an SUV, you will need 2 empty slots. For our purpose, cars are numbered according to the order in which they arrive at the lot. For example, the first car gets number 1, second one number 2, and so on. The numbering does not tell us whether the car is a compact or an SUV. The configuration of a parking lot is a sequence, and each single vacant slot is represented by a letter B. Okay. I think, we need an example to understand what is actually happening. And the guys who set the paper were very kind to actually give us an example. So let's check. Suppose car numbered 1 through 5 arrive and park. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have arrived and parked. Cars 2 and 4 are SUVs. So 2 is taking 2 slots. 4 is taking 2 slots. At this point, the parking lot will be described as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is what I've done. Car 2 and car 5 now vacate. So if car 2 vacates, it will leave 2 vacant slots. Car 5 vacates, it will leave 1 vacant slot. 4 is still an SUV, which I'm showing with a circle. If a compact car number 6 arrives, subsequently followed by an SUV. So when 6 arrives, it will take this vacant slot, the first vacant one. So 1, 6V, 3, 4V, and this is done. Then when 7 arrives, which is an SUV, 7 will not be able to come and fit in this slot. So 7 will go. Actually, you don't need a vacant at the end because, in the end, there are multiple slots. It's a never-ending parking lot. So 1, 6, V3, 4, 7, this will be our final order. Are you guys okay with the final order that I have made? 1, 6, V3, 4, 7? This is okay with you? I'll assume this is fine and let's check the questions. Initially, cars 1, 2, 3, 4 arrive, among which 1 and 4 are SUVs and 2 and 3 are compact. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is an SUV, 4 is an SUV. Then car 1 leaves. Okay. So vacant, vacant, 2, 3, 4. Followed by the arrival of car 5, a compact, and car 6, an SUV. So 5 comes in, so 5V, 2, 3, 4. And then when 6 comes in, 6 cannot fit in here, so 6 will get added to the end and 6 is an SUV. Car 4 then leaves. So I will have 5 vacant, 2, 3, vacant, vacant, and 6. Car 7, an SUV, and car 8, a compact car arrive. Now, when car 7 arrives, it'll take these 2 vacant slots, fit here. Car 8 arrives, it'll take this particular vacant slot and fit here. At this moment, which car is parked next to 3? Next to 3, we have 2 and 7, but only 7 is there in the options, so 7 is my answer. Pretty straightforward, just following the rules that they have given us and applying those rules to get to the answer. Then, suppose 8 cars have arrived, of which 2 have left. Also suppose car 4 is a compact car and car 7 is an SUV. Which of the following is a possible configuration? Now, if I look at these possible configurations, see, if no one had left, car 4 and 7, okay, so 4 has definitely left. A compact car 4, this has definitely left because in none of the options I can see 4. In none of the options I can see 4. Okay. So I have 2, 3 blank for 4, 5. See, and I do not see 1 anywhere. So definitely 1 has also left. Now, I do not know whether 1 was a compact or an SUV, but I know that car 4 was a compact, so it would have left an empty space. Then I have 5. After 5, I will have 6 and 7. This is vacant. 8 comes in. Okay, yeah, so 8 can come in here. 8 is a compact car. 8 comes in here. 4 is a compact car. 7 is an SUV. 7 is at the end. That's it. So this is a perfectly valid combination. This is a perfectly valid combination. So what must have happened? What must have happened is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These, all of them came one after the other, out of which 7 is an SUV. We do not know about others. 2 cars have left. Definitely 4 has left because I do not see 4 in the options. Definitely 1 has left. I do not see 1 in the options. 1 could have left 1 vacant position or 2 vacant positions. I do not know. But I know for a fact that 4 would have left just 1 vacant position. Now 8 comes in. 8 comes in and 8 has settled here. If 8 has settled here, if 1 was an SUV, then 8 is an SUV. If 1 was a compact, then 8 was a compact. Whatever was 1, 8 has taken its position directly. So 8, 2, 3, V, 5, 6, 7. This is a perfectly valid arrangement for our thing. Are you okay with this? Okay. Next one. Suppose the sequence at some point of time is 4, 5, 6, V, 3. Now, how is it possible? How is it possible that 4, 5, 6 and 3, see what must have happened that when 3 was there, normally 4 should come after it, but 4 is coming before it. So how can 4 come before it? Or rather, how can 4 positions be before it? How come 4 is coming before, 5 is coming before, 6 is coming before, and there is a vacant space? How come there are 4 spaces which are empty before 3? That is only possible if 1 was an SUV, 2 was an SUV, and 3 was there. Then 1 vacated 2 spots, 2 vacated 2 spots, and 3 was there. 4 came in, 5 came in, 6 came in. These were all compact cars and they left 1 vacant position. So which of the following is not necessarily true? 3 is an SUV, that's possible. 4 is a compact, that is definitely true. 1 is an SUV, definitely true. 5 is a compact, definitely true. So the only one which is not necessarily true is the first option, that car 3 is an SUV. 3 could be a compact car, 3 could be an SUV, 3 is anyways at the end. We do not know that. We cannot say for sure about 3 whether it is a compact or an SUV. About 1 and 2, they were SUVs. I'm dead sure of that. That's the only way that they are going to vacate 4 positions before 3 and leave 4, 5, 6 and V before that. Are you guys okay with this? Let's try the next one. Suppose that car 4 is not the first car to leave, which means car 4 is leaving and someone else has left before car 4. Okay? And that the sequence at a time between the arrival of 7 and 8. So 7 has come, but 8 has not come, is V, 7, 3, 6, and 5. So what does this tell me? This tells me that between 3 and 5, there must have been 4 at some point of time. There must have been 4 at some point of time, and 1 and 2 must have been here at some point of time. So I very clearly know that my original arrangement was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what I started with. Which one is a compact, which one is an SUV, I do not know that. Then car 6 came in. When car 6 came in, someone has left. See, definitely 4 has left. And someone else has also left. Maybe 1 has left, maybe 2 has left. I do not know who has left. But at least one of them has left. I will assume that 1 has left. So V2, 3, 4, 5 is there. Now if 6 comes in now, it cannot occupy this position. So 4 must have also vacated. Now when 6 comes, why did 6 not go here and why did 6 come here? What must have happened? What must have happened for 6 to come here? Can you tell me? What must have happened for 6 to come here and not take the 1 empty slot, which was actually vacated by 1 or 2? I don't even know. Aditya is absolutely right. See, only 1 slot was available by 1 or 2. I don't know whether 1 vacated it. I don't know whether 2 vacated it. Whoever vacated it, that much I do not know. But I know that 4 must have been an SUV. And because 4 was an SUV, I'll use some more space. So I have V7, 3, 6, 5. Means I started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, one of these vacated, I do not know, but 3, 4, 5 are there. And then 4 also vacated. And 6 came and replaced 4. 6 came and replaced 4. So the only way 6 came and replaced 4 and did not take one of the earlier positions was because 4 was a big car and 6 was a big car as well. Then we are given first position is vacant but 7 is here. How is that possible? How is that possible that 7 came in? So this is the entry point of 6, which is an SUV. how is it possible that 7 came in and this position, it did not go to the first position? It did not go to the first position. 2 left, 7 came. Yes, so that means initially what I was saying, one of them has left. Which one has left? So this must have been the status when 6 came. So basically 2 must have left first. After 2 leaving, 4 must have left. Then 6 comes in. 6 cannot occupy this position. So 6 comes and occupies this position as an SUV. Then 7 comes in. So 7 does not go there because 7 is happy with just one position. 7 is happy with one position. So 7 takes one position. 7 is a compact. 2 was also a compact. 7 took its position. Then 3, 6, and 5. And then after this, 1 left. That is the possible configuration that must have been taken place. Now, let's look at the ideal scenario and see the questions. Which of the following must be false? Car 2 is a compact, that is true. 4 is an SUV, that is true. 7 is a compact, that is true. 6 is a compact, that is false. See, if 6 was a compact, 6 would have come in and adjusted earlier itself. 6 would have come in and adjusted earlier itself, and such a situation would not have risen. 4 and 6, both of them have to be SUVs, making option 4 as incorrect, making option 4 as invalid. Are you guys okay with this? Okay. Just a reminder, I'm conducting a GK preparation class. If you guys are, targeting exams like SAT and IFT, then you should attend this class. Let me see if I can find the link for it. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. No, the GK link, GK for, okay, found it. So it starts in roughly half an hour. This is the link for the GK class. I would recommend that if you're targeting exams like SAT and IFT, please come and attend this particular class. I already told you about the mocks. Unacademy also has an Ask a Doubt feature where you can click a picture, send it to us. Either me or someone from our team will go ahead and clarify the doubt for you. If you're planning to register for any of the courses, please use the coupon code HANDA. That'll give you a 10% off. And that's pretty much all that I have for today. If you have any doubts, please email me on hkfdoubt@gmail.com. And in my final analysis, I would say that my personal ranking will be the beat set was the easiest, then it was the voting set, then it was the parking set, then the professor one, and then the revenue for app and electric one. So if you had to attempt to, and that's what I recommend students to do, you should have attempted the beats and the voting set, one in this class, one in previous class. And it's perfectly okay if you disagree with me. This is my opinion. What you need to understand is when you do your analysis, you guys should be able to pick your easiest questions. It'll come with a little bit of practice, and you have enough time for that. So please do that. If you get stuck in a question, I'm there to help you. You can always email me on hkfdoubt@gmail.com. Bye everyone, and as usual, I'll request you to please provide positive feedback at the end of the class. Bye guys.